Marshmallow Root 1. It's very thin. It's very slimy, but it does not hold its texture. It's almost like the consistency of when you have a runny nose. That's not super thick. So like that beginning or that very end of a cold is the way it feels. The taste is bland. It doesn't have any grittiness. It doesn't really taste like anything. It's, like I said, bland. And the feeling is just slimy, but it feels like it puts moisture into the skin. This is Marshmallow Root 2 with 2 grams of marshmallow root and warm water. Again, this is rather runny and it's very gooey as far as looking. When you pour it onto the plate, does it hold up any texture like the cinnamon powder did? No, not so much, except for what's at the very bottom. And even then, it's runny. It has a thickness than Marshmallow Root 1 did, but it's still very thin in consistency. The more I played around with Marshmallow Root 2, I realized there was some grittiness in the powder, in the texture, as to the fine details. And when I tasted it, it wasn't so much of a bland, neutral taste. Instead, I get like a nutty flavor in my mouth. This is Marshmallow Root 3, which is 3 grams of powder with 8 ounces of ice cold water. As you can see, it does have like one clump, thick clump right here. Well, now that I pushed it out, you can't really tell. But the rest of it on the top, this was almost like one of the ones with cinnamon powder that had the thicker on the bottom and the runny on the top. This is exactly the way this one was. The thicker part was in the bottom of the strainer, whereas the runny part was on the top. But this one doesn't really hold its shape like cinnamon powder did. It's definitely very thin, runny, still has that gritty texture, but moisture. Flavor is neutral, but an undertone of nuttiness. Marshmallow Root 4, 5 grams of powder with 8 ounces of boiling water. And this one, again, the top was running in the glass. When you poured it out, the top of the glass became the bottom of the strainer, and the bottom of the glass became the top of the strainer. So it held its shape relatively well. There are some individual clumps in here. Another 4. I think this one did the best as far as extracting the most mucin or gelatinous form. Grabbing a spoon, you can tell that this part right here, it's runny, but see how thick it is right there? That reminds me of some of the cinnamon powder we had. Observations. But as far as feel, it's on average still runny, slimy goo, thinner than egg yolk maybe, or maybe right there at it. Or more or less, this is like egg yolk with the whites when you blend it together and feel it. That's the texture of this. taste. Again, gritty still on my hands, slimy, but again, it feels like it gives moisture into the skin, and taste is nutty.